Hello, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Educast. I'm your host, Brooke Gerken. On today's show, we're going to examine what's wrong with the American education system today, how we can improve it, and how other countries are just doing everything better than us. So without any further ado, let's dive on in. We're going to begin today's podcast by examining the history of our American education system. Schools have always been a part of American society, as they were established once voyagers reached America. Harvard, the first higher education institute, was established in 1636. Since then, thousands of institutes and colleges were set up across the country, providing Americans with a proper education. Yet the world and American students have changed over time, but our education system hasn't. America continues to fall in the world rankings since we're too focused on the traditional education system. Other countries are experimenting with new, innovative teaching methods that students love and are more appropriate for our changing digital culture. To regain our education dominance, America needs to look at what these other countries are doing and reshape our system based on these successful methods. One of the first things that needs to change is No Child Left Behind. No Child Left Behind has been holding many students back since 2002 by only measuring intellectual improvement from reading, writing, and math tests. Educators are teaching students to be good test takers, and students are only learning how to pass the test. We need to better emphasize learning for the real world, so students aren't just memorizing answers minutes before the test starts. No Child Left Behind also pushes struggling students too hard. Many students aren't good at taking tests and are forced to study subjects that may not be of interest to them. If they aren't going to be using this in their life, why are we making them struggle through hours of studying just so they can pass one test? Another big issue with No Child Left Behind is how it is ironically leaving the gifted students behind. With an emphasis on helping struggling students keep up, gifted students are often left sliding through tests and assignments with no real challenge. They are stuck with the basic core education, learning content that is easy and often uninteresting to them. So what does America need to do? Education needs to be more individually directed. If a student is having trouble, slow down. Help them until they have a thorough grasp. If a student is succeeding, don't hold them back. Keep challenging them and let them keep learning about the content that is interesting to them. Instructors need to be giving out less tests and more engaging assignments. That way, teachers aren't teaching how to pass tests. And speaking of tests, it's time that America does away with standardized testing. It is an inaccurate measurement of intellect, as some gifted students struggle with the format. Timed tests create unnecessary pressure to finish, where real-world duties don't require you to come up with 75 solutions in 45 minutes. Because of this, the ACT and SAT also have too much impact on college acceptance. Many students are smarter than what their test results show, and a subject selection can hurt students that are bad or uninterested in subjects like math and science. The US is the only country recording how students do by multiple choice exams. Other nations use performance-based assessments, evaluating students on essays, projects, and activities, proving to be more successful than our system. So what does America need to do? We need to stop relying on standardized testing as an accurate measure of intellect. America needs to switch to performance-based grading so students are more engaged and not just studying to pass. Another issue with America's education system is high tuition costs. Colleges, especially private colleges, charge tuition at a rate that barely anyone can afford, leaving millions of students in debt. Brazil, Spain, France, and Italy all provide higher education at no cost to students. These countries see more students choosing higher education because of it, giving more citizens a better education and career. So what does America need to do? Simple. Charge less or nothing for tuition. More students would be willing to attend a 2 or 4 year school and be better educated because of it. We'd see citizens with better jobs and better pay, which would ultimately provide better results in rates of unemployment, crime, and other issues. So what does America need to improve on? We are a changing society, so education needs to change with us. We are now a technology-based, distracted generation, and our system needs to be based around that. Students should not have to wait around for other students to learn. Everyone should be educated at their own pace. Everyone should also be educated on what is interesting to them, giving students a better idea and better preparation for their future. We should also not hold students to their standardized test scores, as that is an unfair tool of measurement. And finally, America needs to consider lowering or eliminating the cost of college tuition, as it is turning many potential students away from the education they deserve. So it's time to step it up, America. We've got some work to do. Thank you for listening to this episode of Educast. Tune in next time where we will talk more about America's education system.